fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
On a 62-degree afternoon, we welcome you into Sinsheimer Stadium for San Luis Obispo Blues baseball. Today, the Blues look to take Game 2 from the Bay Area Admirals in a Memorial Day matchup. The game between these two teams last night was close until it wasn't. The Blues entered the top of the ninth inning trailing by just 2. After a flurry of 5 hits, the Admirals put up another 5 runs to take a commanding 7-run lead. The Blues went quietly in the bottom of the frame to lose their first game of the summer 9-2. Hitting with runners on base was the biggest crutch for the Blues in Game 1. SLO left 10 runners stranded and only mustered 2 runs on their 7 hits. They just could not get the big one to fall. Today, head coach Dean Traynor hands the ball to Omar Reynoso to try and get back in the win column. On the other side, the Bay Area Admirals couldn't have asked for a better start to their summer. They totaled 9 hits, 9 runs, and played phenomenal defense behind their around-the-zone pitching. The team from the Bay did not look like a team playing in just their first game together. Nolan Meredith will get the start tonight as the Admirals look to get out of SLO with a 2-game sweep. Can the Blues bounce back from their first loss, or will the Admirals take 2 of 2 here at Sinsheimer? Find out soon. The final game of this 4-day weekend is coming up next on the SLO Blues streaming network. As we welcome you into the press box, Jack Smith alongside you as always, and I'm excited to take you through this Memorial Day matchup for the San Luis Obispo Blues. The Blues standing at 2-1 after the loss last night. They won 5-0 on opening night, a big shutout performance with great pitching. Then they won the second game against the Coastal Dodgers 8-4. Yesterday, a different story with a 9-2 loss, and it was really a different look for the Blues team. The pitching was not around the zone quite as much. I believe they had 7 walks on the night of the Bay Area Admirals, and the hitting was just not there with runners in scoring position. The Blues could get guys on, but they couldn't bring them in, which I think is the biggest thing that they'll be looking to change tonight. We're just about ready for first pitch here at Sinsheimer Stadium as we prepare for Game 4 of this season and Game 4 of this 4-day homestand. The Blues won't be active again until next Friday, so we'll have a little bit of a break, the players and us here. It's our first weekend here of this season, but the Blues preparing to go to Game 4 and try and come out of here with a 3-1 record in the first 4 games of this season. We're going to head to break, and we'll come right back here on the SLO Blues streaming network.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
We're here at Sinsheimer Stadium, Game 4 of the summer for your San Luis Obispo Blues. As the Blues are announced, let's walk you through the starting lineup for the Bay Area Admirals today. Starting it off is the shortstop Blake Schaaf from Georgetown. He's back in the lineup once again. Jared Wood plays third base from the University of Pacific, and he bats second. Seth Gwynn, the DH from Los Medanos College, in the 3 spot. And cleaning it all up, Chase Graves, the left fielder from the University of the Pacific. Kirk Wolf bats fifth from Arkansas Monticello. He plays right field. Daryl Dilworth, the center fielder, headed to Cal Berkeley, is in the sixth spot. And from 7 to 8 to 9, Luke Rossi, the first baseman from USF. Jacob Antene making his first start from the College of Marin. And Tommy Baratsoff will be in the squad, hitting ninth for the Bay Area Admirals. As the Blues take their positions on the field, we'll walk you through the starter for your San Luis Obispo Blues as well. On the mound, making his first appearance of the summer, it'll be Omar Reynoso, the 5'11", 255-pound left-hander who had a .64 ERA in 54 and a third innings pitched as a senior at local St. Joseph High School. He'll be headed to San Mateo College next year, and here he is making the start on Memorial Day for the San Luis Obispo Blues. Reynoso takes the field right now as he hops over the white chalk line with our Blues buddies today, a local Little League team, the Phillies, and they're decked out in the powdered blues with the maroon hats. Moments away from the national anthem here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and we'll take a step back and let you listen.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, on this special day, Memorial Day, we ask that you would kindly rise and remove your hats as the Marine Band plays our national anthem.
Game 4 of the summer here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and the Blues prepare for Game 2 versus the Bay Area Admirals, who took a 9-2 victory last night to move the Blues to 2-1 on the summer. Jack Smith, I'll have Nate Mills joining me again through the middle chunk of this game, but excited to spend another day here in the summer of 2023 covering Blues baseball. The Blues have had a really promising start to the summer so far, just couldn't get the one hit they needed to fall last night and couldn't keep it close in the end. It was a much closer game than the score suggests. It was 4-2 most of the way, and then the Blues let up 5 runs in the top of the ninth inning. They'll try and get an early lead today and hold on as Omar Reynoso, the lefty, prepares to dish it to the Bay Area Admirals. Due up in this top of the first inning for the Admirals, Blake Schaff, Jared Wood, and Seth Gwynn from Georgetown, Pacific, and Los Medanos College, respectively. As you see Reynoso out on the mound right now, that is a beautiful sky blue glove, and the Blues are in their 4th different uniform of the Memorial Day weekend. They're in the navies today. Has the white numbers on the back, the white script across the front, white pants, and some players playing with their socks up, some with their socks down, but the navy socks and the navy hats. For the Bay Area Admirals, they're decked out in the charcoal gray uniforms with red sleeves, white numbers, and a very bright, distinctive red belt to go along with the hats and socks. A dark-on-dark uniform combination today with a gloomy sky up above. Unfortunately, here for the fans that are out here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and there are a lot of them yet again, a gloomy sky up above. So no sun for Memorial Day Monday, although I'm sure these fans are just fine to enjoy some baseball and some mimosas. It's Mimosa Monday here at Sinsheimer Stadium. $10 mimosas for all fans above 21, of course, that want a little hit of bubbly in their morning. Reynoso dishes to DeBrum, and we're almost ready to get off here at Sinsheimer Stadium as the Blues look to improve to 3-1 on the summer before they'll get a couple of days off. Blues are back in action on Friday here at Sinsheimer Stadium. In fact, all of the first 9 games for the Blues this summer are played here at home. Reynoso's ready. Here comes Blake Schaff, and we're ready to get started here on the SLO Blues streaming network here in the top of the first inning. Schaff, the left-handed hitting shortstop from Georgetown, played yesterday in the 9th spot. He did not have a hit. He did walk and scored once, and he moves all the way from 9-1 in the batting order. Reynoso toes the rubber, working from the stretch. He looks into DeBrum for his sign, nods, has it, and comes set at the belt. He kicks and fires. Here's the 0-0. And Schaff takes it for a strike, top of the zone, and that's how this game got started. First pitch 1 minute late, 2:06 p.m. here on the West Coast. 62 degrees and cloudy. Oh, 1, and Reynoso deals again. And Schaff bends back out of the way at a curveball aimed at his head. 1 ball and 1 strike. First look at the breaker we've seen from Reynoso. It'll feature a couple of different pitches. Did not have quite enough bend on the breaking ball. 1-1. And Schaff swings and misses at a high fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You mentioned Reynoso's stellar senior year at St. Joseph High School, an ERA at .64. That number starts with a 0. As he's ready to deal 1 ball and 2 strikes to Blake Schaff. He kicks and fires, and Schaff taps it up the middle towards second. Hicksonbaugh, the second baseman, watches it bounce off his glove and into center field, and a leadoff base runner for the Bay Area Admirals on the error by Hicksonbaugh, the second baseman. We'll take you around the defense for the San Luis Obispo Blues. We just mentioned Hicksonbaugh's at second. Joined on the right side with him is Trevor Schmidt getting another start at first base. It's Schroeder at short, Ricken at third. In the outfield from left to right, it's Hansen, Burns, and Ibarra, and DeBrum making his first start behind the plate. So a runner on, and Reynoso picks that way. E4 on Jake Hicksonbaugh, who started at shortstop last night. Gets the start at second base today with Schroeder back in the lineup. And the ball always seems to find you. And Hicksonbaugh couldn't keep it in front. Here's a fastball a little bit low to Jared Wood, the third baseman from UOP. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Schaff is aboard. He's at first. Reynoso will keep an eye on him. He comes home. He had Schaff dancing a little bit at first base. Wasn't exactly sure whether to go back or head to second when the count moves 2 balls and no strikes on a ball outside. Wood making his second appearance in this 2-game series. Here's the 2-0. He looks at a fastball too high and out. 3 balls and no strikes. Wood hit 8 yesterday. And now he's hitting in the 2 spot. And you see a move up the order for both Schaff and Wood. Went from 9-8 to 1-2. Here's the 3 ball, no strike pitch. That's a fastball on the outer half for a strike. It's 3-1. Wood had a single, a walk, scored 1 run. He was 1 for 3. The run he scored was in that top of the 9th inning, where the Admirals tallied 5 runs to make it a 7-run ball game. And Wood takes a 3-1 outside for a walk. 2 runners aboard and still nobody out here in the top of the first inning. So Reynoso taking a little walk, try and clear his head after the error and the walk. And he looks in at Seth Gwynn, making his first appearance, DHing from Los Medanos College. Reynoso has to work around the 2 base runners now with nobody out. Here's his pitch. And Gwynn pops it up on the right side. It's going to be the right fielder Ibarra making his first appearance of the series and makes the catch. His throw cut off by the shortstop Schroeder and no advancement from the runners. So a productive out if you're Omar Reynoso. No one moves up and you get an out on the scoreboard. There's 1 away. That's Corbin Ibarra in right. He's one of 2 Blues in the lineup right now making their first appearance. Him and DeBrum, their SLO Blues debuts. Here's Chase Graves, the left fielder from University of Pacific, and here's the 0-0 pitch. That's just out for ball number 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Graves playing left field today after playing center yesterday. Had a big double in the 9th to go along with a walk and a run scored in the 4th. He takes a fastball for strike 1. 1-1 the count here, top of the first inning. as the Blues take on the Admirals, game 2 of this 2-game set. Looking to avoid getting swept at home. (1-1). And Graves chases it foul, back out of play. It's 1-2. The Blues started their season with a 2-game sweep of the Coastal Dodgers here at home. 5-0 win on opening night, 8-4 just a couple nights ago. A different story last night in a 9-2 loss in the Admirals' first game of the summer. 1-2. And Graves takes a changeup. Strike 3 called. First K for Omar Reynoso, and he's got 2 outs in a row. And the runners staying first and second. That was a beautiful changeup on the outer half. Graves didn't like the call, but we're seeing a wider zone on that outside corner. Someone gets a bottle of hot sauce here at Sinsheimer. With every strikeout, the Blues hand out 1 free bottle of hot sauce. 0-0 pitch to Kirk Wolf is a little bit too high. 1 ball and no strikes. Wolf, the right fielder from Arkansas Monticello, hit a home run in the top of the first inning last night. It was a 2-strike, 2-out situation, and he tattooed a ball to left field for a solo shot. And after that, the Admirals led all game. 1-0. That's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Looked like the changeup again from Reynoso. A big guy, but not a lot of velocity so far. We've seen the fastball, changeup, and curveball. Just looking for 1 more out here to get around the base runners. And he misses up 2-1. Wolf also hit a sacrifice fly in the 9th inning. Sandwiched his day, had the home run and the sacrifice fly, but 3 strikeouts. That's kind of the meat of your sandwich in between as the count moves 2-2 with 2 outs. It's Schaff at second. He reached on the error by Hicksonbaugh at second base. Jared Wood, who walked, is at first, but since then Reynoso's got a pop out and a strikeout, and he's 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. He strides and shoots and misses upstairs with what looked like a cutter. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So now the runners will be on the move with a 3-ball, 2-strike count, 2 away. Schaff will take off for third. Wood will trail him to take off for second. Reynoso shakes, now has his sign, looking in at Wolf, and a 3-2 count. He kicks and fires, runners on the move, and Wolf lines it right back to the screen. The count stays full. Very similar spot to Wolf's at-bat in last night's game. It was a 3-2 count. The starter for the Blues, Lucas Alanese, grooved in a fastball, and Wolf blasted it over the left field fence. 3-2. Runners on the move. Strike 3 swinging. Reynoso with 2 straight strikeouts to get out of the jam, and the Admirals do not score. We head to the bottom of the first inning, and the Blues have the top of the lineup coming up. Nin Burns, Augusto Schroeder, and Jason Hansen coming up when we come back on the SLO Blues streaming network. We welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium, where the Blues head to the bottom of the first inning in a scoreless tie here at Sinsheimer, and we'll introduce you to the SLO Blues starting lineup. Nin Burns gets his 4th straight start in the leadoff spot, playing center field. Augusto Schroeder back in the lineup for Dean Traynor. Playing short, batting second. Jason Hansen also back in the lineup card. He plays left field and bats third. JT Ricken, who's been maybe the best hitter for the Blues this weekend from Oregon, he plays third and bats cleanup. Trevor Schmidt, who's been an on-base machine for SLO, plays first and bats fifth. Then is Ryan Taman DHing for the first time to give a little rest to his legs after catching the first 3 games. He bats sixth. Corbin Ibarra making his Blues debut from Tulane, plays right field and hits seventh. Then is Jake Hicksonbaugh at second base hitting eighth. And Johnny DeBrum, who's making his Blues debut as well, catching in the ninth spot. For the Admirals on the mound, it's Nolan Meredith from Chico State. He played his last 4 seasons at UC Davis, had a 7.78 ERA in 91 1/3 career innings pitched. He looks in at Burns with a scoreless tie here in the bottom of the first inning, and the righty prepares to deal the first pitch for the Admirals today. Meredith working from the stretch, kicks and fires. And Burns lines it out to center field. Back goes Dilworth, the center fielder, and it hangs up as he makes the catch right in front of the warning track. 1 pitch, 1 out for the Blues. We'll take you around the defense for the Bay Area Admirals. It's Graves, Dilworth, and Wolf in the outfield from left to right. On the inside, on the infield on the right side is Rossi and Antenne. Schaff and Wood on the left side, and Baratsoff is in the squat behind home plate, making his debut for this season for the Admirals. First pitch to Augusto Schroeder is tapped foul, no balls and 1 strike. So Burns gave that one a ride, but for the Blues, they just have not had the power to get over the head of the Admirals outfielders so far in this series. No balls, 1 strike to count on Augusto Schroeder. Meredith comes home, and Schroeder flies it out of play down the right field line. Meredith, the tall, strong right-hander. We've seen just fastballs so far, but will be playing his 5th year at Chico State next year, just up the state, after playing at UC Davis. 0-2. And Schroeder taps it toward short. Here comes Schaff. He right behind the bag makes a cross-arm throw onto first in time to get Schroeder. 4 pitches, 4 strikes, and 2 outs for the Blues here in the bottom of the first inning. One of the big keys yesterday for the Admirals was the great defense behind him. There was a drop pop-up at third, but other than that, really solid play on the fundamental ground balls and fly balls, and there were also some plays that could have been a lot harder to make that the Admirals made look easy. As Jason Hansen comes to the plate from UC Davis, 1 for 5 with an RBI in the lone game he's played for the Blues this summer. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Hansen played last season at Yuba College, was the Yuba College Male Athlete of the Year for his performance on the baseball field. 1-0. He takes a fastball in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. Hansen, a .958 OPS in all 38 games that the 49ers played. They were 9-29, but as we talked about in the broadcast the other day, 7 of those wins were in conference. So, pretty good season for Yuba. 2-0. And Hansen flies it down the right field line. This is going to fly out of play as the first baseman Rossi chases it to the seats. The count 2 balls and 1 strike. No score, bottom of the first inning between the Admirals and the Blues as the Blues look to get back to their winning ways. 2-1 the count on Hansen. And Hansen lines it back to the screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes. On deck, if Hansen were to reach, is JT Ricken, the third baseman from Oregon. And he leads the Blues in hits so far in the early goings this season. Two. And Hansen fights it off to right field. Chasing it is Wolf, and it hangs up for him as he races towards the line. 1-2-3 inning for the Blues in the bottom of the first inning, and we head to the top of the second. Daryl Dilworth, Luke Rossi, and Jacob Antone coming up for the Bay Area Admirals. No score through one here at Sinsheimer Stadium. The Blues and Admirals, game 2 of this 2-game set. In the final game in this 4-game stretch for the Blues, they've played the last 3 days. They play today. Then they get 3 days off until going on another stretch of 5 straight games at home. But Omar Reynoso back out for the second. He'll face 6, 7, 8 in the Admirals order. It's Ditworth, Rossi, and Antone due up. Reynoso worked around an error and a walk to open up last frame. Got 3 straight outs and 2 strikeouts to end the inning. As here's a pop-up on the infield. Hicksenbach calls everyone off, ranges into the outfield, and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Reynoso, the lefty, doing a real good job getting in on the hands of these right-handed hitters that are coming up for the Bay Area Admirals. And when you're a lefty and you don't throw all that hard, it's one of the big keys is you get on the hands. It's hard to make solid contact for the righties. And there's that beautiful changeup that you can work right off of it. No balls and 1 strike. Reynoso set at the belt. Here's his 0-1. And Luke Rossi watches it outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Rossi from the University of San Francisco, playing first base today after playing third yesterday. Had 2 hits, scored 2 runs. He was the one hitter that batted 2 times in the 9th inning where the Admirals scored 5 runs. 1-1. And Rossi watches a breaking ball in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. It was an inning I think the Blues want back. They entered the frame trailing by just 2 after scoring a run in the bottom of the 8th. Felt like they might have had a chance to come back, maybe tie or take the lead in the bottom of the 9th. But with the 5 runs allowed, it made it a pretty hard comeback to come back down 7 runs in the bottom of the 9th. 2-2 the count here on Rossi as Reynoso looks for the second out of the frame. He kicks and fires, and Rossi takes it outside, 3-2. Reynoso trying to avoid walking his second Admiral of the day after walking the second hitter in the first. Full count pitch. That's a fastball driven out to left field. Hansen camps under it in the gap and makes the catch. It looked like Rossi caught that one off the end of the bat, and he's retired for the second out here in the bottom of the second inning. Here's Jacob Atene from the College of Marin with 2 outs in the top of the second inning. And Reynoso deals to him. He fouls it back out of play. No balls and 1 strike. Real nice crowd again on hand here at Sinsheimer Stadium. And when I talk about the crowd after a foul ball, you know that means it's because the kids are chasing the souvenir. Yesterday's crowd was actually the highest of the weekend so far. 1,471 fans for a gloomy Sunday. Real good start to the season for the Blues and their fans. As there's a fastball, misses a little bit outside, 1-1. One offering. And Antone lines it up the middle for a base hit. He's aboard first with 2 outs and a base runner and maybe as a potential rally sparker for the Admirals here in the second. Reynoso had to duck out of the way as that line drive came right back at him. He got out of the way, and it was just out of the reach of the shortstop Schroeder. So that brings up the 9-hole hitter Tommy Barrettsoff, trying to keep the rally alive with 2 outs. Barrettsoff catching today, batting right-handed. Comes to the plate. It's Jacob Antone at first. He just singled. Reynoso picks to first. He had Antone leaning, but not in time to get him. We were told before the game that Omar Reynoso on a pitch count today is supposed to only go around 40 pitches for the Blues. He spots up on the outside corner with a fastball 0-1. So you figure that's around 2 to 3 innings for Reynoso. And the way that the first inning went, being a little bit of a stress inning, this could be the last that we see for Reynoso today. There's a fastball in the dirt. Really nice block by DeBrum, the new catcher, to keep Jacob Antony at first in a 1-1 count. What about Reynoso, who recently finished his senior season at St. Joseph High School? Don't want him going too long after what I'm sure was a stressful amount of pitches in the playoffs down the stretch for St. Joseph, as the count moves 2 balls and 1 strike. Reynoso headed to play at San Mateo College next season. 2-1 offering. And Barrettsoff swings right through it. Back pick to first is not in time to get Antony as the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. The fans want another bottle of hot sauce, and Reynoso struck out the last 2 hitters last inning, and he's looking to end this one with a K. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. He kicks and deals, and there's a liner on the ground past the third base bag on 1 hop. Foul as the count stays 2-2. The Admirals running up the pitch count a little bit on Reynoso with these longer at-bats. 2 balls, 2 strikes still, with 2 outs in the top of the second. Reynoso wants to get through 2 innings scoreless. He brings it home. And Barrettsoff taps it on the ground again past the third base bag. Foul. This is one thing the Admirals were really good at yesterday. They only struck out 5 times, and this is against a Blues pitching staff that struck out 32 Coastal Dodgers in the first 2 games of the season. But they were fouling off anything near the zone. 2-2. And Barrettsoff, it's a high drive deep to left field. Hansen's chasing it, and again, foul. Way gone, but not on the right side of the foul pole. As Barrettsoff going to try and figure out how to straighten that one out. Would have been a home run if it was fair. That ball hit 363 feet, but foul. 2-2. There's a chopper on the ground toward short. Schroeder has to dive, and it's into center field. Antony puts on the brakes at second. Another base hit for the Admirals with 2 outs. Now there's 2 runners aboard, and back to the top of the lineup we go as Barrettsoff wins the battle, keeps that one fair, and right back up the middle. So Reynoso now, another stress inning. He was able to strand runners on first and second last frame, but now he has to go after Blake Schaaf again, the leadoff hitter, with 2 runners aboard. Antony, the second baseman, runs well at second, and Barrettsoff, the catcher, leads off first. 0-0, and Schaaf takes a fastball in there for strike 1. It's no balls and 1 strike. Schaaf reached on an error on the first pitch of the ball game as Hicksenbaugh watched the ground ball bounce off of his backhanded glove. 0-1. And Schaaf pops it on the infield. Ricken is chasing it into foul territory. Calls everyone off and makes the catch. So Reynoso works around a jam in each of his first 2 innings. And with the 40 pitch count limit, that might be his last inning of the day. We'll see if the Blues go to the bullpen at the top of the third. But before that, bottom of the second on tap here at Sinsheimer Stadium. We welcome you back to Sinsheimer Stadium for the bottom of the second inning between the Blues and the Bay Area Admirals. Omar Reynoso able to work out of 2 jams in the first 2 frames, stranding 4 runners across the 2 innings. So it's still scoreless here at Sinsheimer, but the Blues, who went 1-2-3 in the first inning, bring up 4-5-6 here in the bottom of the second. JT Ricken, Trevor Schmidt, and Ryan Taman do up for the boys in blue. Nolan Meredith, headed to Chico State, back out on the mound. Righty standing on the first base side of the rubber, kicks and deals, and JT Ricken swings right through the fastball, 0-1. Ricken 4 for 11 early on in this season for the Blues. He's got a double and 3 runs batted in, leads the team in hits and runs batted in. 0-1, and he swings through a changeup. Beautiful pitch on the inside corner, 0-2. Ricken, whose Oregon Ducks recently won the Pac-12 Tournament Championship and got a bid today, obviously, for the NCAA Regionals as he taps it on the ground towards short. It's the third baseman Woods who cuts off Schaff and throws to first in time to get Ricken. Nice play again on defense for the Bay Area Admirals, and there's one away. No activity right now in the Blues bullpen. So that either means that whoever's coming into the game may already be ready for the Blues, or it means Reynoso could be staying out there for the third inning. Maybe get a batter or 2. As here's Trevor Schmidt, 2 for 4, 5 walks, and 2 runs batted in so far for the Blues. He gets the start at first base again after a day off yesterday, and he's ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the 1-0 to Schmidt, and he flies it out of play down the left field line. 1 ball and 1 strike. Right into the bullpen, and it's caught by a lefty that's warming up for the Admirals. We saw the Admirals use a lot of arms yesterday, and they only let their starter, Ethan Marmee, go 2 innings. As here's the 1-1, and Schmidt taps it back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But the Admirals, yesterday was their first game of the summer, and today's just their second. You imagine that they got a lot of guys here. The list of pitchers on their roster is a long one. They want to get everyone a chance and also keep the arms fresh because it's going to be a long summer for them, playing all the CCL teams. 1-2, and Schmidt takes a changeup outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Got to stay fresh as we still have not hit the dog days of summer, and we're frankly not close. 2-2. And Schmidt fights it off. Back to the netting. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. We thank you for joining us on the SLO Blues streaming network. Reminder that after these next couple innings, Nate Mills will join me for the bulk of this game, 4 through 7. Here's the 2-2. And Schmidt pops it up. It chases Wood, the third baseman, to the screen, and it falls out of play past the bullpen for the Admirals. The count's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Nate will be providing his, as always, very welcomed color analysis on the sport of baseball, the life of a college athlete, and also sometimes what it's like to play summer ball, which is what we're here doing today. 2-2, and that's outside, ball 3. Full count on Trevor Schmidt, who reached base his first 8 times he went to the plate for the Blues. Since then, he's on a big slump, 0 for 2, his last 2 at-bats. 3-2. And Schmidt fights it off again on the inside corner, fouls it back, and the count stays full. Schmidt, in his first 8 plate appearances, has the 5 walks, had the 1 hit, and was also hit by 2 pitches. Here's another payoff from Meredith, and Schmidt fights it off again. We've got a battle brewing here with 1 out in the bottom of the second. Blues want to get on the board first after trailing all the way through yesterday's game. Got worse at the end, as we've talked about. It was close most of the way, but when you feel like you're chasing a run or 2 or even 4, as the Blues were after a couple of innings yesterday, it can be more exhausting as compared to when you're holding a lead, which is what the Blues did the first 2 games where they got out in front early. Another 3-2. And Schmidt draws a walk. Fastball upstairs, and the Blues have their first base runner as Trevor Schmidt reaches first via the base on balls, and now up steps Ryan Taman. This will be Taman's final game with the Blues. As we talked about it yesterday, there's some temporary players here on this lineup as the Blues wait for some of their other players to finish up their collegiate seasons. Taman, who plays around here at Arroyo Grande High School, graduates on June 8th, and on June 11th, he'll head to play for the Utah Marshals. 0-0. And that's a little bit out. 1 ball and no strikes. Taman, who's headed to play for Cal Berkeley, will get a taste of summer ball in Utah instead of playing here at local Sinsheimer Stadium. 1 ball and no strikes with Schmidt at first after he drew a walk. Here's the pitch. And Taman crushes it on the ground, past the shortstop Schaff and into left field. A base hit for Ryan Taman, his second of the season, and the Blues have something going here with 1 away. It's Schmidt at second, Taman at first, and Corbin Ibarra coming up to make his first plate appearance with the Blues.
Now batting number 31 from Tulane University, it's the right fielder, Corbin
Ibarra, today's right fielder, in his first time in a Blues uniform. He was here yesterday, but he told me it was his first day that he had been in SLO. And so he got the day off yesterday and now has a chance to come to the plate today. RBI opportunity as the Blues look to strike first here in the bottom of the second inning. 2 runners on the pitch, and Ibarra taps it on the ground towards third. Wood's going to go all the way across the diamond to first in time to get Ibarra. Both runners advance, but that's the second out here in the bottom of the second, and Ibarra's down on 1 swing. Interesting choice from Wood. Had to come in to field the grounder, but could have tried to turn a double play with Taman running to second and Ibarra to first, but opted to take 1 out, and now he'll trust Nolan Meredith to be able to get out Jake Hicksonbaugh, who was 1 for 3 in his Blues debut yesterday. But another RBI opportunity. The Blues left 10 on base yesterday. Want to erase that trend today as Hicksonbaugh taps it foul 0-1. Hicksonbaugh, as we talked about last night, hit .543 as a senior at Arroyo Grande High School. And 94 at-bats. That's 51 hits. A really staggering number for the rising freshman headed to Monterey Peninsula College. Here's the 0-1. And that's outside on the change. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hicksonbaugh, left foot, straddling that back line of the left-hand batter's box. He waves his black bat behind his navy helmet as Meredith comes set at the belt and comes home. And Hicksonbaugh pops it up, foul, backing out of play on the third base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Hicksonbaugh has to battle up here with 2. 2 runners on for the Blues. It's Trevor Schmidt at third and Ryan Taman at second base, both with average speed. Hicksonbaugh chokes with 2. And here's the 1-2. And it's inside, lined into right field. In comes Wolf, and he watches it drop right in front. Schmidt scores. Taman is held at third, and the Blues lead it 1-0. RBI single for Jake Hicksonbaugh, who continues to show off the hit tool as he fought off that inside fastball for a liner single into right. And the Blues go station to station, and they capitalize on a runner in scoring position opportunity. The trends are a-changing, folks, from last night, and the Blues have an early lead. Inning's not over either. Johnny DeBrum now making his Blues debut, his first time at the plate. Runners at the corners with 2 away. And the leadoff hitter, Nin Burns, on deck. DeBrum wants to keep this 2-out rally going. First pitch from Meredith, and DeBrum swings right through it, top of the zone. It's no balls and 1 strike. DeBrum, like Hicksonbaugh, also heading to Monterey Peninsula College next year. Just finished up his senior season at Atascadero High School. Oh, 1. And that's upstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. The numbers for DeBrum, like many of the high school players we've had here this weekend, are absolutely ridiculous. The catcher hit .458 as a senior. Also had 7 doubles and 5 home runs. 1-1. And that's lined back to the netting. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the Blues really this season, on top of the 30 players that they expect to play at the D1 level next year to come this summer, got the cream of the crop from these local high school talented kids. We've seen Hicksonbaugh, DeBrum, obviously, Taman, and Judah Hill yesterday. Here's the 1-2, and it's tapped back towards the mound, past the pitcher Meredith, and the throw from Schaff to first is in time to get Johnny DeBrum. But the Blues take an early lead on the RBI single from Jake Hicksonbaugh. We head top 3 with the Blues up 1-0.
evolutionary process going on. But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
The Blues are on top after 2 full innings. We're here in the top of the 3rd inning. It's 1-0 SLO over the Bay Area Admirals as the Blues take an early lead on the RBI single from the kid, Jake Hicksonbaugh. And now Omar Reynoso, despite the pitch count, is back out for at least one hitter here in the top of the 3rd inning. Due up, it's 2-3-4. Really the danger spot for the Admirals. It's Jared Wood first, then Seth Gwynn and Chase Graves. Reynoso into his stretch and comes home. And Wood takes a fastball outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Reynoso, through 2 innings, has allowed 4 base runners, but he's stranded them all. Runners at first and second to end each of his first 2 innings. 1-0. And Wood thought about it, but takes the fastball outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Hitters count for Jared Wood, who takes a fastball for a strike, 2-1. We mentioned the .64 ERA for Reynoso at St. Joseph High School. He also pitched pretty well at some other local schools, as that's chased out of play, 2 balls and 2 strikes. During his sophomore and junior seasons, he was at Rigetti High School and had a 2.53 ERA and 102.1 career innings pitched. But interesting for him was he was a reliever slash starter there. Right? Went to St. Joseph as the count moves to 3 balls and 2 strikes and started a lot more at St. Joseph. Had a strikeout to walk ratio in his senior season of 72-18. Payoff pitch, and Wood chases it foul down the first base line. The count stays full. He only gave up 5 earned runs across 54 and a 3rd innings pitched. And now dishing it out for the Blues here in his 3rd inning of work. Another payoff. And Wood taps it on the ground towards short. On the backhand, Schroeder has it. His long throw across the diamond in time to get Wood by a step. There's one out. So a good play by the Blues defensively. Schroeder, who's had a couple missed throws so far this summer, with a beautiful laser across the diamond, and a good stretch by Trevor Schmidt at first. And now Reynoso turns his attention to Seth Gwynn, the DH, who popped up to right his first time at the plate. Reynoso comes home, and Gwynn takes a two-seamer on the inside corner for a strike. It's no balls and one strike. Reynoso from the stretch, looking at that outside corner, he kicks and fires. And he spots up, but just misses that outside half. It's 1-1. Blues scored last inning on an RBI single from Jake Hicksonball to take an early lead for the third game of the four that they've played, as there's another pop-up to right field. Ibarra ranges towards the line, and right before he ranges into foul territory, puts his glove up to make the catch for the second out here in the top of the third. Reynoso's been efficient, sometimes with 2 outs is where he's had his problems. After he gave up 2 straight singles last inning to the 8 and 9 hole hitters for the Admirals, both with 2 outs, but then just had to make it a little interesting for himself. Got to pop out to third to get out of the inning. He looks in at Chase Graves, and Graves fouls it back to the screen. No balls and 1 strike. Graves and him were in a battle last inning, or back in the first, pardon me, and he got Graves to strike out looking on a beautiful 3-2 inside two-seamer. Here's his 0-1 pitch, and Graves fouls it off the helmet of the new catcher, DeBrum. It bounces all the way back to the netting, and home plate umpire here going to give DeBrum a little chance to walk it off, but catchers are tough, and I'm sure DeBrum, though it probably hurt, he's feeling fine. There's a count, no balls and 2 strikes. Reynoso a chance to work a 1-2-3 inning. He dishes to Graves, and Graves takes a changeup. Strike 3 called. 3 strikeouts through 3 innings for Omar Reynoso, and he's stymied the Admirals. No runs on the board. We head to the bottom of the third inning, and the Blues lead it by a score of 1-0.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Miguel Ramos is the new pitcher for the Bay Area Admirals, who turned to the pan after just 2 innings on defense. And Ramos from San Joaquin Delta College is another lefty that the Blues faced this season. Seemed like the Coastal Dodgers, who the Blues played through the first 2 games, had just about 800,000 left-handed pitchers and threw just about every single one of them. But a righty through the first 2 frames, now another lefty for Nin Burns, who takes a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1 on the leadoff hitter who flew out to center field his first time up. Omar Reynoso got the Blues through 3 innings on defense without allowing a run, as Burns takes that one up high, 1-1. Reynoso ended it, might have punctuated his day, with a strikeout of Chase Graves on a beautiful changeup on the outside corner. 1-1 on Burns, and he takes a strike on the inner half, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Burns, who's 2 for 11 so far for the Blues, walked a couple times. He's had some singles. With a big stat, 5 stolen bases. So when he gets on, he's going to move around. 1-2. And Burns takes a breaking ball high and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ramos comes set. He goes into his windup and deals. And Burns flies it foul down the right field line out of play towards the Sinsheimer Disc Golf Park. That's just past Sinsheimer Stadium here. Big facility. We've got a playground behind us. You've got the disc golf to the right, YMCA to the left, and a big train track behind the right field wall. Burns taps it to short. In comes Schaff, and he gets Burns despite the speed. And that was a great play by Schaff to get that ball out of his hand quick and toss it around to first, 1 out. Augusto Schroeder coming to the dish now for the Blues. 2 for 10 so far in a blue uniform for SLO. And he grounded out to short his first time up. The Blues have been grounded out to short and third a lot. A little bit out in front on the rollovers as that fastball misses high. 1 ball and no strikes. Schroeder from Arkansas State does have 2 hits and a run batted in for the Blues. Hands held real high and bouncing up off his right shoulder. He takes a 1-0 fastball in there for strike 1. It's 1-1. One pitch. Schroeder swings and misses on that big fastball. Outside, it's 1-2. Schroeder didn't see the field in his freshman season at Arkansas State for the Red Wolves, but hit .423 with 15 RBI as a senior at Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School out in Oklahoma. 1-2. And he flies that one to center. Dilworth ranges back and to his left, and with his feet slightly moving, still makes the catch to retire the second out of the inning. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the third, the Blues turn their attention to Jason Hansen, who flew out to right field his first time up. Played at Yuba College last year, headed to UC Davis to continue his on-field performance. And I'm sure he'll want to keep up the season he had at Yuba. So here's the 0-0. It's a little bit high, 1 ball and no strikes. Hansen, as we talked about, Yuba College Male Athlete of the Year, and wasn't really even close. He was the leader in just about every offensive statistical category for the 49ers last season. And the Blues want him to find his swing. He's 1 for 6 now as a Blue. Takes that one outside as the new pitcher Ramos loses his red hat. 2 balls and 1 strike. Blues on the board last inning on the Hicks and Boss single, and they just want to keep adding insurance throughout the game as Hansen swings through that fastball 2-2. The Blues still figuring out their offensive identity. Game 4 of the 2023 summer. 2-2 pitch. And Hansen pops it up. Right side of the infield. It's going to be Anthony Rossi. It's Anthony, the second baseman, who ranges out past his own right fielder, Kirk Wolf, and makes the one-handed catch to retire the side in order. The Blues go 1-2-3 and wait at the top of the 4th. Nate Mills will join me as the Blues are up in this one 1-0. Top of the fourth inning here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and we welcome you into the press box. Joined alongside Nate Mills, I'm Jack Smith. And Nate, you were in the dugout for the first 3 innings. What was the reaction like to the Jake Hickson-Baugh RBI single?
Everyone was super stoked to see the young kid get another clutch base hit. Talked to him before the game as well, and he's just one of the most confident players I've ever talked to. You know, I congratulated him on his RBI single yesterday, and he was honestly expecting it, and that's just something rare you see from a young player, especially someone just now coming out of high school playing with some guys who play at a Power 5 school or maybe a little in the upper class range as well. So to see him come through again in that situation was something that he probably expected again, but something the guys in the dugout were super excited about as well.
Well, we know he has the hit tool as we head here to the top of the fourth inning with Omar Reynoso still out there. You were obviously gushing over it yesterday. The .543 senior batting average in high school, and you need to be able to hit the ball in order to hit .543. That doesn't happen by accident. As Omar Reynoso back out there, I guess the Blues have removed the pitch count as he faces Kirk Wolf, Daryl Dilworth, and Luke Rossi. And that's a fastball in there for strike one. Do you want to walk the viewers through what you heard about the pitch count earlier this week?
Yeah, earlier this week he was throwing a bullpen over by the Blues dugout and I asked him if he was starting that day because we were uncertain of who the starter was yet. He said, no, I'm going Monday, and I got a 40-pitch pitch count.
Guess we can't trust him for his own information.
Guess not.
He's done well for the Blues through 3 innings. He's got 3 strikeouts, including 2 looking, and that was a big one to end the 3rd inning. Worked his first 1-2-3 frame. Here's his 0-2. And that's tapped right back into his teal glove. He's going to race overhand toss it to first in time to get Kirk Wolf by a couple of steps.
And yeah, Jack, those strikeouts have been the difference in the game so far. You know, both teams got 2 hits, but the Blues got that 1 run. Those 3 strikeouts are really killing the Admirals right now. And the pitch that's getting them the most is the changeup, which is good to see that Reynoso's got that dialed in because during those warm-up pitches, he was sort of struggling to get that in the strike zone. He was skipping in the dirt. He's hitting the backstop, so he was able to dial it in for the game. Good to see that for the Blues.
And Daryl Dilworth swings through a fastball. Dilworth, his first time up, hit a pop-up to the second baseman, Hickson-Baugh. And we've been obviously here for 4 days. We've seen a lot of names come through for other teams. I think the Admirals are building kind of an all-superhero alter ego name list. We saw Will Wentworth yesterday, and we've got a Daryl Dilworth today.
Dynamic duo right there of the Worths.
Every superhero alter ego, I feel like, has alliteration on the first name and last name. 1-1. That's in the dirt on the changeup. 2 balls and 1 strike. Reynoso working his 4th inning of work. He kicks and fires the 2-1. A big swing and a miss. Another changeup and a beautiful pitch on the outside corner. Gets Dilworth to chase it out there, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Ooh, yeah, he's really feeling that changeup. It's got a lot of movement to it right now. It's going where he wants it to, and the fans want hot sauce.
2-2. They're not going to get it. It's a liner to short, but right at the glove of Augusto Schroeder, there's 2 away. It's the second time this weekend that the Blues have gotten fortunate about where a line drive was hit, as Schroeder has kind of caught 2, and Ricken caught one yesterday as well on a leap. But if you're a pitcher, you're fine if it gets hit hard. As long as it's to your defenders, you're all right with it. As here's Luke Rossi, who flew out to right in his first at-bat. That's a slider in there for ball number 1, a little bit low and in.
Wish Schroeder caught that with his beautiful all-red glove that he got at Arkansas State. It's got the Oklahoma flag on it. It's got his nickname Goose on the thumb. It's a really nice-looking glove. I was asking him why he wasn't using it. He just hasn't broken it in yet. I said, hey, I'll play catch with you to break it in so we can see it on the field.
2 balls, no strikes. I want to see that now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down for batting practice next Friday as the 2-0 is lifted into center field. And Nin Burns, right before the track, puts his glove up to make the catch. 2 straight 1-2-3 innings for Omar Reynoso. And we head to the bottom of the 4th with the Blues still in front, 1-0. Home half of the fourth inning here at Sinsheimer Stadium. The Blues still in front 1-0. They'll bring up 4, 5, 6 in the order. JT Ricken, Trevor Schmidt, and Ryan Taman due up as Omar Reynoso on the mound has gotten them through 4 innings without allowing a run. And he's worked 2 straight 1-2-3 innings. Now the Blues get the bats back to work against Miguel Ramos, who stays out for the Bay Area Admirals. Here's Ricken. He takes a fastball for a strike. That pitch averaging around 86 miles an hour out of the hand of the left-hander. Oh, 1. That one not close. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Try to go with the slider there. A little missed grip. Gets out of his hand.
Ricken has to jump rope back out of the way of a fastball inside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. And Ricken so far today, he's grounded out to the third baseman, but 4 for 12, leads the Blues in hits and runs batted in. 2-1. And he smashes that one on the ground, right into the ground towards short. Schaff, a quick transition. He throws high to first, and a great stretch by Rossi in time to get Ricken.
Yeah, and that ball had to get off quick. Ricken, as we know, with incredible speed. We talked about his 60 time back when he was a senior in high school, ran that 6'4". Told me he could probably run a 6'6" right now, which, I mean, that's nothing to scoff at either. So really had to rush that throw as Schaff to get it to first, but maybe a little high, but still does the job.
0-0 fastball a little bit outside to Trevor Schmidt. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Schmidt walked and scored the Blues' lone run back in the top of the second inning. 1-0. That's upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes.
So Schmidt's in hitter's count now. He's 2-0. My personal favorite count as a hitter. I'm interested to see how he adjusts here to Ramos after Meredith, was throwing the soft stuff with that changeup. Schmidt was out in front that whole at bat. Let's see how he adjusts here with the 86-mile-an-hour thrower.
And 3 balls and no strikes. He might not have time to adjust as he could draw his second walk of the game. Mateo Mendoza, last night's catcher, is in the pen for the Admirals. 3-0. And that's way inside. And Schmidt bends out of the way and draws a 4-pitch walk. His second walk of the game puts him aboard for the Blues. And they've got another base runner. Schmidt walked with 1 out in the second. And we might be getting a little deja vu if Ryan Taman can get another base hit.
Yeah, you'd love to see that again for the Blues, except maybe this time like to see a little extra base hit action happening. The 2 singles was great. Got that fielder's choice there from Ibarra that advanced the runners as well. But Taman's got the juice.
No balls and 1 strike to count. The Blues have not had a lot of power this summer. We've seen the singles come through. We've seen a couple doubles, but a lot of the doubles are either a down-the-line action or a bloop that was just misplayed. There's a high pop-up, mile high to right field. Wolf chases it to the line. This might drop as Wolf crosses the line and has to reach back into fair territory to make the catch. There's 2 away. But for the Blues, yeah, it just feels like they haven't come into the power yet this summer.
No, not yet. And we're seeing it in BP. We talked about how they had boring BP for the first 2 days, which is something hitters work on. I know I worked on that when I was a hitter in college, but we're starting to see them slowly lift the ball in batting practice, and you wonder if that could translate into the game pretty soon.
Here's Corbin Ibarra, a ground out to third, his first time at the plate, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Ibarra from Tulane, who won their conference despite winning only 14 games in the regular season, and now will play in the NCAA regionals. Just one of the crazier stories that you'll see, a team that I'm not sure even they expected to be able to win their conference tournament and make it to the NCAA tournament. But Ibarra, who redshirted this year, is here with the Blues instead. But Tulane, the Green Wave, a miraculous postseason performance, and they're still going.
That's what college baseball is all about.
You're never out until you're actually out. As Ibarra's at the plate now with a runner at first, it's Schmidt after the walk. And the 1-1 fastball way in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike.
It looks like Ramos starting to rush here a little bit. Starting to yank the fastball, skipping it in the dirt.
Alena Lancey with a runner at first. 3-1 the count now on Corbin Ibarra. pick to first, and Schmidt's back in safe. A little bit of an errant throw, pulls Rossi off the bag, but Schmidt's back in safe. Ibarra played in 18 games his senior season at IMG Academy, had a .256 average, 10 hits and 48 plate appearances. 3-1, runner on the move, swing and a miss, throw down to second, in time, the tag on Schmidt. So a strike him out, throw him out situation, and the Blues do not score in the bottom of the fourth. We head top five with the lead for San Luis Obispo, still 1-0.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Beautiful Sinsheimer Stadium. It's a little bit of a gloomy day today, but everyone enjoying some Memorial Day baseball as the Blues lead it 1-0. And we were talking about it earlier in the broadcast, Nate, but it's Mimosa Monday here at Sinsheimer. $10 mimosas for all fans who want a little bit of bouginess here at the baseball field.
Just a terrible day to be a mimosa.
Bad day to be mimosa, for sure. For Reynoso, he's back out there, and he faces Antony Baritsov, then back to the top of the order, and Blake Schaaf here in the top of the fifth. That fastball is outside. 1-0. As the Blues lead it 1-0, Reynoso has really bared it down these past two innings. After allowing and stranding 4 base runners his first 2 frames, he's gone 1-2-3 in each of the past innings. There's a high fly ball to shallow center field. It's the right fielder Ibarra that calls off Burns, and who came up with that one? It looks like Burns stole it out of the glove of Ibarra, and that's the kind of stuff that can happen when you're playing your first game together as outfielders.
Yeah, that is true, but at any level of baseball, it's essential that you communicate who has the ball, and you have to know that the priority goes to the center fielder. Couldn't really tell if Burns was saying, I got it, but he should have been in that case. That's how you get hurt, and that's actually how I got hurt playing in my days.
We'll ask you for more on that in a second, as there's a fastball outside. We want the story now.
Yeah, it's not the best. Playing right field, didn't call the ball in the right center gap, collided with the right fielder, shattered the right ankle.
Oof.
Sidelined for 8 months, broken bones, off the growth plate. So ever since then, I was very on top of communicating. I always did this thing before every inning. I'd yell the outs. I'd yell 0. That was my thing. And made it a point to be obnoxious about communicating.
3 balls and no strikes on Tommy Baritsov, the catcher. And he takes a fastball for a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike on the 9-hole hitter who singled his first time up. That was with 2 outs in the second before there was a big pop-out got by Reynoso to third. 3-1. And Beretsov takes the changeup too low and draws a one-out walk. Well, it's better to over-communicate than under-communicate, right?
Absolutely. I learned that the hard way.
And we're just happy that neither Burns or Ibarra got hurt and that the ball didn't drop. That's one of the other things that can happen there is you have two gloves vying for one baseball. Sometimes they get in the way of each other, almost like two basketball defenders going for a rebound, and they both just kind of knock it off each other's hands.
Yeah, this was best case scenario right there. Good thing Burns came up with that. And
There's
okay.
a bunt down the third base line, foul from the leadoff hitter Schaff. He can't straighten it out, and the count no balls and one strike. Schaff 0 for 2. He did reach on an error, though, by the second baseman Hicksenbaugh to lead off the game. Good for Hicksenbaugh at second to be the one that's come up with the RBI base hit and kind of give himself a little bit of a breather after the error. Get back in the right headspace. Pick to first. Not in time to get Beretsov. Reynoso's gotten through 4 1/3. Hasn't allowed a run. Wants to strand another runner for the Admirals. Here's his 0-1 pitch. That's low and out. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 1 the count on the leadoff hitter Schaff from Georgetown, who nubs it back out on the mound. It's off the glove of Reynoso. The shortstop Schroeder tosses it to the second baseman Hicksenbaugh for 1 out, but not enough time to get the speedy Schaff at first. So Reynoso knocked it down, but a good play by Schroeder to still get 1 out.
Yeah, good awareness by Schroeder to be right behind Reynoso on that, just in case he missed the grounder, and he did in fact miss it, but Schroeder was right there to make the play. Record the force out.
So now 2 out, still a runner at first base with Schaff with a lot of speed. We'll see if he tries to take off on DeBrum. We haven't seen the arm of DeBrum yet. We've seen Taman, who's got the first 3 games, throw out a couple batters. But still haven't seen it from DeBrum. There's a pop-up on the infield. Could be playable for Schmidt. He ranges towards the Blues dugout, fights backwards a little bit, and makes the catch. 5 scoreless innings from Omar Reynoso, and the Blues still lead it 1-0. Who's going to come across with the next hit and run? Find out as we come back here on the Blues Streaming Network.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
I don't even care.
Where's McGuire?
New pitcher in on the mound for the Bay Area Admirals. It's McGuire, number 26, coming in out of the pen. And he faces 8-9-1 due up for the SLO Blues. It's Hicksonbaugh, DeBrum, and then back to the top of the order, and Nin Burns. This is Corbin Ibarra, who we believe to have struck out to end last inning. If not, I guess they consider the caught stealing, but I thought it was a strike him out, throw him out situation, and there were 2 outs with a 2-strike count on Ibarra. But either way, Ibarra is still at the dish, so I guess they opted for the caught stealing instead of the strikeout, but I don't think Corbin Ibarra is going to complain. He gets another at-bat, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. McGuire from the stretch kicks and deals, and Ibarra cues it into the air on the first base side. It's the catcher, Baritsov, who goes into a 2-knee slide in order to make the catch, and there's the first out here in the inning. In a 2-0 count, Ibarra pops it up.
Yeah, and it's another low sky today. We mentioned it yesterday because similar weather to yesterday as well. When it's cloudy like this, you got that low sky. Makes it feel like there's a little bit more of a ceiling on the field of play. Whereas a high sky, it's a bright sunny day. The ball feels like it's higher in the air.
Here's Jake Hicksonbaugh. Ibarra got a second chance, but did not make good use of the hitter's count. It's 1 ball and no strikes on Hicksonbaugh, who's been a real surprise for the Blues. Had a hit yesterday with an RBI, and now he's got the lone RBI in today's game. One of 2 hits that the Blues have. It was a single to right. 1-0. That's outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, McGuire's got this release point that we're starting to see a lot more in pitchers. He's short-arming it. Starting to teach that a lot more in places like tread athletics or drive line. Helps preserve the arm a little bit more.
That 2-seamer in there for a strike. I feel like it also allows you to get some more arm side run on the ball because it looks like when their hand is out, if you put your right arm out right now, your 2 fingers are kind of pointed forward, but it's almost like they're rotated more inwards as if he's turning his thumb in, but even before he throws it, that's kind of just his arm slot as the count moves to 3 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, you're right. That short arm action definitely does that to the ball, creates some more run, but it can also hide the ball very well. You don't see it until later.
3-1. Hicksonbaugh takes a fastball for a strike as the count moves full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Well, the Blues at some point will want to add to their lead. You feel like 1 run, never safe, especially at the collegiate level where you can see crooked numbers at any point.
Yeah, and I don't think they're satisfied here. I think they're definitely looking for more.
Hicksonbaugh strikes out swinging on that inside pitch. The first strikeout actually for the Blues today. So it took them a couple innings, but they had been putting the ball in play, and it's Hicksonbaugh who strikes out for the second out here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's Johnny DeBrum, the catcher, headed to Monterey Peninsula College, grounded out to short in his lone at-bat earlier today. And now another shot at the 3rd pitcher in for the Bay Area Admirals. It's McGuire here in the bottom of the 5th. There's a liner to left, and that's a base hit off the bat of the new catcher, Johnny DeBrum. He's around first, and the Blues have a 2-out base runner. First hit in a Blues uniform for Johnny DeBrum.
Nice piece of hitting for the kid. That sets him up nicely for Burns to come up. He found a really good barrel in his first at-bat and the first pitch of the game. So I know Burns is hunting for that feeling again. If he can get a good pitch here to hit, he'll put a nice swing on it.
That 3-0 pitch in the dirt as well. DeBrum will take second, but he's going to get there anyway because of the walk. So 2 runners aboard now with 2 outs, and the Blues have something of a 2-out rally brewing.
Yeah, it's essential here for the Blues to capitalize. No lead is safe, especially a 1-0 lead. Like to add on some extra insurance runs here for San Luis Obispo on this Memorial Monday.
Augusto Schroeder at the dish, 2 outs and 2 runners on for the Blues. Looking to bring in another run. McGuire deals, and Schroeder takes a fastball for a ball. A little too high. 1 ball and no strikes. McGuire peers in, working from the stretch. He looks back at second at Johnny DeBrum. That fastball, again, too high. And that's 6 straight out of the hand of McGuire. And now a driver's count for Augusto Schroeder, who's 0 for 2 today, is 2 for 11 in the early Blues season.
Yeah, Schroeder's just looking for a pitch he absolutely loves right now.
McGuire comes home and misses way high, 7 in a row. And now you have to assuredly think that the take sign is on for Augusto Schroeder.
I was going to say, I'm taking all the way on this pitch right here.
Jason Hansen on deck, heading to UC Davis next year. And the 3-hole hitter for the Blues. 3 balls, no strikes, the count on Schroeder. Here's the offering. That's in there for a strike. Right down Broadway. 3 balls and 1 strike. Really great speed at first base with Nin Burns. We're not exactly sure the kind of speed that DeBrum has. And you never want to assume because of position, but he plays catcher, so normally you're looking below average. 3-1. That's in there for a strike on the inside corner as Schroeder tosses his bat. He'll have to recollect as the count moves full, and both runners will be on the move.
I'm not really sure what McGuire did to earn that call right there. Schroeder should be at first right now.
Schroeder offers his apologies to the umpire. As the count 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 runners on. Both will be on the move. The Admirals will have to go the long way. McGuire kicks and deals, and a fastball too high. That's a good thing for the Blues. DeBrum wasn't running from second base with a 3-2 count, but it doesn't matter. The pitch too high. 2 straight walks, 3 straight base runners for the Blues with 2 outs, and Jason Hansen comes up with the bases juiced in 2 outs.
Yeah, it's time to make the Admirals pay. We got 2 walks in a row here. Hansen wants to be the guy, struggle a little bit in the summer thus far. Good spot for him to come through.
From Yuba City to San Luis Obispo, Hansen playing his second game as a Blue could be the hero here with bases loaded at fastball.
evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence.
We welcome you back here to Sinsheimer Stadium. We apologize for any technical difficulties. The Blues have added a run on a single and then 3 straight walks here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. It's 2-0 slow, and a new arm in after the 3 walks allowed by McGuire. Dom Brasesco, a high leverage arm coming in for the Admirals. Fastball that tops out in the 90s, and he looks in at JT Ricken with Burns at third, Schroeder at second, Hansen at first. The first offering is right in there for strike 1 on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike on JT Ricken, who's got 2 groundouts today, but he's the leader in hits and RBI for the Blues so far in this young summer.
And Brasesco, another San Joaquin Delta College Mustang coming into the game.
I don't deny there's some strange evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Get the relievers to pick up the tennis balls here at Sinsheimer Stadium. The tennis ball toss after the 5th inning, and the Blues lead it by a score of 2-0. The Blues scored 1 run last inning. It was a single by DeBrum with 2 outs, and then 3 straight walks by the Bay Area Admirals brought in a free run for the Blues, and now you feel a little bit more comfortable with the 2-run lead. And Omar Reynoso, who's had a fantastic afternoon so far, is back out there for the Blues. Nate, what do you think that Reynoso needs to do to keep having a good day?
Reynoso needs to keep throwing that changeup that seems to be working so well. If he can hone in on that curveball too, I think he'll go quite a ways into this ball game and keep the Blues in it. They're only up by 2 right now. It's only 2-0. Good to get that insurance run in the last inning, but that changeup really does seem to be working. I think if he can dial that curveball in a little bit too, that'd be even better. But for now, the soft tosser has just gone fastball changeup, and it seemed to work for him so far.
Reynoso will face Gwynn, Graves, and Wolf all due up for the Admirals here. And then he's done a really good job, too, of when he's gotten runners on, he's really bared down in a strong way to keep them off of the home plate, I guess is the way he would put it. But he's doing a good job pitching with runners on base, runners in scoring position, and that's exactly what the Blues needed after yesterday, where it was a tiring, draining game, especially when it got to the 9th inning, and the Admirals scored 5 runs. Seth Gwynn, the DH, is due up first. It's Gwynn, then Graves, and Wolf. And Gwynn, who has popped up to the right fielder Ibarra twice, comes to the dish, heading to Los Medanos College, the DH. And here's Reynoso's first offering. It's a little bit high, and Gwynn thought about going, but held the swing back. 1 ball and no strikes. One-0 pitch. A little bit out. 2 balls and no strikes. We talked about the Admirals yesterday, who they're a team that's trying to make a bid for themselves to play in the CCL. This is a provisionary year for them where they'll play the CCL teams, and then if all goes well, they'll join the CCL next year. Yesterday was a good first day of the audition, as there's a strike 2-1 with the 9-2 win, and it's about 2 different things, the way they play on the field and the organization as a whole. And I think that they've shown up to Sinsheimer Stadium here, and they've done well for themselves, at least, in the audition to try and be in the CCL next year, as the count moves to 3 balls and 1 strike. Bottom of the 6th here at Sinsheimer, and the Blues lead it 2-0. It's still Brasesco on the mound for the Admirals, as Trevor Schmidt steps into the dish, and Ryan Taman on deck, Ibarra in the hole. And Schmidt pops that one towards foul ground on the left side. Chasing to get it is the left fielder Graves, and as he crashes into the fence, he makes a one-handed catch, and Schmidt is retired on 1 pitch.
Yeah, Schmidt was just looking for a pitch to hit, and he got it. Fortunately, fouled it off. Fouled it and right into Graves' glove, and he's had 2 walks today so far, and he just wants to get that base hit. He wants to get on via the hit, but unfortunately ends up in a foul out.
We apologize again for any technical difficulties that might have been coming your way. We think we got the feedback up now, and so we appreciate your patience as the count moves to 0 balls and 1 strike on Ryan Taman, the designated hitter. A single and a pop out today. But Omar Reynoso, if you missed it, worked another great inning and stranded 2 runners again. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Ryan Taman. So Reynoso has worked 6 scoreless innings, 4 strikeouts. He's only allowed 2 hits. 1-1 to Taman. And Taman takes a fastball a little bit outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Taman playing in his last game for the Blues this summer before heading off to play the rest of his summer ball in Utah when the Blues get some of their D1 players that are finishing up their seasons coming back. 3 balls and 1 strike. Three-1 the count. As Brasesco works from the windup, he kicks and deals, and Taman hits a high pop-up right side. Antony, the right fielder, or the second baseman's going back, but it's Kirk, the right fielder, that makes the one-handed catch, and there's 2 away.
And the Blues are getting some pitches to hit. They just got to hit them. Just missing pitches that I know these hitters can handle. They keep popping it out or grounding out to short, and that's been the story of their season so far.
Here's Corbin Ibarra. He's grounded out and he's popped out in his first 2 at-bats as a SLO Blue. Here's the 0-0. That's outside. 1 ball and no strikes. The Blues still want to add some insurance. They've gotten stellar pitching from Reynoso so far, but this game could be flipped on its head if the Admirals could come up with a hit with a runner in scoring position. So you want to lengthen your distance if you can if you're the Blues, as it's 1-1 now. That pitch a little bit low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Nate, what are you seeing from the approach from the Blues hitters so far today in comparison to yesterday?
So far, it looks like they're being a lot more patient, or they've been patient all season, but they've been patiently waiting for that fastball or whatever pitch they like in the zone, and they're getting it. They just can't seem to capitalize on it. That's the last step that they're missing into having success, but seeing some good quality at-bats out of the Blues still. They're just missing that extra piece.
3 balls, 1 strike on Ibarra. If he stays patient, might reach base for the first time this summer. Here's the 3-1. And that's outside. A 5-pitch walk, and Ibarra has an on-base percentage now. He reaches first as a 2-out base runner for the Blues here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, and they've been working into hitters counts all day. It seems like we've seen the Blues hitters being 2-0, 3-1, 2-1 all day. And they seem to be drawing walks and popping out, which has been the theme so far in this early season.
Here's Jake Hicksonbaugh. He's got an RBI single and a strikeout to his name today. Brasesco long hold, comes home, and Dixonbaugh fights it off out of play. Foul on the third base side, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Ibarra at first, he walked. Good speed for the right fielder from Tulane. And Hicksonbaugh behind in the count, no balls and 1 strike. He's an early 2 for 5 in his young Blues career. Runner goes, or fakes going, as Ibarra returns back to the bag on a ball. It's 1-1. Is that a move to try and get some kind of a throw out of the catcher, or is it just a really aggressive lead?
It could be a little bit of both, but if you're a guy with speed and you have confidence on the base path like that, that's a move you commonly see. It gets the catcher all jittery, perhaps make a throwing error, and he's got you thinking about him.
Pack in time is the pick back to first to get Ibarra. Could not slide his hand back in, and he is picked off to end this bottom of the 6th inning. Maybe the move, not the right time. As we head to the top of the 7th, it's still 2-0 Blues when we come back here on the Blues Streaming Network.
I don't deny there's some strange evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed.
We welcome you back here in the top of the 7th inning to Sinsheimer Stadium, where the Blues hold a 2-0 lead on the Bay Area Admirals, looking to escape this one with a series split in the 2-game set. These two teams are playing at the end of this Memorial Day weekend, and Omar Reynoso is back out on the mound for the top of the 7th. He's worked 6 scoreless, and the Blues are just riding that left arm of Reynoso. He faces Anthony Baritsov, and then back to the top of the order in Schaff. That pitch in there for a strike.
Reynoso sort of had some command issues towards the end of the past 6th inning, but the Blues rolling back out there anyway. Finished it up well after a quick meeting with the catcher, DeBrum.
0-1. That's a liner out to center field, but again, soft and not that deep, right to Burns. And there's one out on 2 pitches.
And then Burns getting some reps out there in center. As an outfielder, you know, growing up in tournaments too, you know, you go to Arizona or you go to Georgia or what have you, whatever tournament. But as an outfielder, you'll go a weekend without a ball being hit to you at all. You're kind of just there to hit. But then Burns already got a few balls hit to him today. He's getting some action.
Reynoso hasn't gotten Baritsov out yet as that one bounces off the top of the press box. We thought we had a chance for that one to enter in. I was afraid of what it might do to our equipment, but bounces off the awning, and it's 0-1. Baritsov has a single, and he's walked today. 0-1. A little bit of a leg kick action, and that's a little bit inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Some pitchers are ground ball pitchers. Some pitchers are fly ball pitchers. I think we're finding out today that Reynoso generates a lot of fly balls. And you're right, Burns has been active. 1-1. That's outside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Reynoso still trying to nip away at that outer half of the zone, but that's where all those fly balls are hit, is in that half of the strike zone.
2-1. It's in there for strike 2 on the outside corner. And you haven't seen, outside of the command a little bit last inning where he walked Wolf with 2 outs and then gave up the single to Dilworth in an 0-2 count, you haven't seen many signs of fatigue for Reynoso, pitching deep here into the 7th. 2-2 pitch. That's outside off the glove of the catcher DeBrum. The count moves full.
Yeah, Reynoso has been very consistent throughout this whole game.
Needs to rally here, 3-2. There is an arm warming in the pen, a right-hander for the Blues. A 3-2 count on Tommy Baritsov, the catcher. Swing and a miss on the fastball. The 5th strikeout for Omar Reynoso, and that's a beautiful fastball at the top of the zone to turn the lineup card over, and there's 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
And Reynoso climbs up the ladder. Enticing fastball, not even in the strike zone, and he gets Baritsov to go after it.
He ran that one up to 81 miles an hour. One of the faster velocities we've seen from Reynoso today. As here's Blake Schaff coming up, the leadoff hitter. And he takes a fastball outside. A nice effort there by DeBrum to try and frame that one, but I think he tried to pull it a little too far. And the count 1 ball and no strikes. We've seen that Reynoso's normally sat in the mid to high 70s, and that's a strike. But ran that one up above the 80-mile-an-hour mark.
And something about the soft tossing lefty is always deceptive for a hitter. It's never the soft tossing righties.
That one, a filthy pitch as well, top of the zone. And Reynoso is 1 strike away from getting the Blues through 7 scoreless innings. He's already gone further than Robbie Lardner, who had a fantastic opening night start with 12 strikeouts went. Already working the deepest a Blues starting pitcher has this season. 1-2. That's the curveball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And with a 3-2 count, normally that's not the time you see guys ramp up the velocity. You're trying to aim sometimes, but Reynoso trusted his fastball to gun it in there as hard as he could and still got the strikeout. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Schaff, who is 0 for 3. The pitch, there's a fly ball to left, right at Hansen, who has to track back a little bit, make a weird leap, and make the catch. 7 scoreless innings for Omar Reynoso, and we head to the bottom of the 7th inning with the Blues still in front. On the SLO Blues streaming network, it's 2-0. half of the 7th here at Sinsheimer Stadium, and the Blues still lead it 2-0. It's been a commanding day for the starter for SLO. Omar Reynoso has worked 7 scoreless innings, and we don't know yet whether his day is done or not, but he's been fantastic for the Blues. He's got 5 strikeouts. He's only allowed 2 hits. In fact, the last hit was back in the 6th, and previously the other hit was in the second. So in 7 innings, only 2 hits, and he had gone the entire way between the 2nd and with 2 outs in the 6th without allowing a hit.
It started out as a 40-pitch outing, went into a lengthy 7-inning start.
I'm not sure I'll ever trust you again on a note about a
No.
pitch count. I think when you tell me a pitch count, I'm just going to assume now, the starter's going to go 7 scoreless. Want to know the count on Jake Hicksonbaugh, who saw the bat taken out of his hands last inning when Ibarra was picked off. And now a 2-0 count on that fastball. Ibarra was picked off to end the bottom half of the 6th with Hicksonbaugh at the plate. But now he gets another chance to lead off an inning. It's 2 balls and no strikes as Brasesco still on the mound, kicks and fires, and Hicksonbaugh pops it up. Third base side, this is going to be trouble for Wood. He chases it back to the fence, and it falls out of play into the bullpen of the Bay Area Admirals, 2-1.
There it is again. Hicksonbaugh getting that 2-0 fastball right there for him to strike well, and he fouls it off. Blues want to add on. They got to capitalize on those pitches.
2-1 from the windup, and Hicksonbaugh fouls it out of the glove of the catcher Baratsoff and back to the screen. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-0 Blues. They dropped last night's contest 9-2. It was their first loss of the summer. But a win today would mean a 3-1 first homestand. That's pretty good for the start of the summer. 2-2 on the way. That's high. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a good leave by Hicksonbaugh right there. Once again, that climbing up the ladder with that fastball. Hitters love chasing that pitch. That's a mature spit by Hicksonbaugh.
The payoff pitch grounded into the hole. The first baseman, Rossi, with a fantastic dive and throws wide. It gets by the pitcher, Brasesco covering. Hicksonbaugh tries to take second. The throw down, and he's in time. That's a base hit for Hicksonbaugh. A really nice dive by Rossi. He only had a couple seconds to try and make a throw and could not make a clean one. And for the Blues, a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Yeah, Rossi with an excellent dive right there. That throw is sort of at an awkward distance. It looks like he tried to soften it up and got away from him.
A hit on the scoreboard for Hicksonbaugh. And now it's the kid, Johnny DeBrum, who has a hit and a run scored in his Blues debut, coming up with Hicksonbaugh at second. As the Blues try and add some insurance, he squares to bunt and bunts it way foul back to the Blues dugout. It's 0-1. He's speed on the base paths as well, and the Blues trying to play a little bit of small ball and get Hicksonbaugh to third base to try and score a run on a sac fly or maybe a ground ball to the right side with Nin Burns, the leadoff hitter, on deck.
If DeBrum's going to square up, he's got to get that out in front of the zone and on top of the zone. His bat was too far back. He's got to stiffen it up and get it out there.
0-1. He squares again and lays it down. This one's right on the line towards first. Rossi picks it up, throws low, and it is dug out by Antony. Rossi wasn't sure whether to throw that at full speed or toss it, and he just bounced it about halfway. It served as almost like a basketball bounce pass and got there in time to get the catcher DeBrum. But moving on to third is Jake Hicksonbaugh. Now Nin Burns has a job to do, get the run in from third with 1 out.
Yeah, just punch it over the infielders' heads, and that'll get the job done for Nin Burns.
Burns has a walk today. Other than that, he's 0 for 2. Great speed at third in Hicksonbaugh. Brasesco trying to keep the run in, and the Admirals pull the infield in. He misses the inside corner with a slider. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Burns, the leadoff hitter, a guy that has some sting in his bat, but can also just slap it over the heads of his infielders or right back up the middle and try and get a base hit to bring this game to a bigger Blues lead, 3-0. 1-0. And he takes a fastball, spotted up perfectly on the outside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, that's the approach right now for Nin Burns, is thinking middle, grounder up the middle, line drive up the middle. It's a good starting point of reference for the hitter.
Trying to go right back where it came from. And 1-1. And Burns pops it up. This could be trouble for Wolf, the right fielder, racing in towards the line, and it bounces just foul by about a foot. Burns with his hands on his head as he touches the first base bag. Thought he might have had an RBI, but the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And Burns got a little too big on that one. Frontside fly, we always called it. A little frontside fly there, and fillets a pop into foul territory, though. Gets another chance here, but he's 1-2.
Got to choke up, try and barrel something up with 2 strikes. 1-2. That's in the dirt on the breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Really nice block by Barrettsoff, the catcher, who's had himself a day. He's reached base twice, and he's played really phenomenal defense behind the plate. No miscues at all. And he has to do a good job here with a runner at third, 1 out. Got to keep everything in front. Keep a run off the board for the Blues. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Nin Burns the second. Brasesco kicks and fires, and Burns slaps it foul right back out of play off of the lighting wires here at Sinsheimer Stadium that are about 1 inch wide, and somehow Burns managed to snipe them with that foul ball. And the count's still 2 balls and 2 strikes with Hicks and Baugh at third. Blues trying to add some insurance. Brasesco readies up. Glove held at the belt. From the stretch. Pitch on the way. And Burns taps it off his own foot. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Burns has got to adjust here. Still being way too big on those cuts, especially on that breaking ball. That's the time where you want to be the most compact. Still flying open a little bit there. The pitch prior as well, he got a fastball that was on the outside corner and could have gone the other way with it, but tried to yank it. Same thing with that breaker.
Long hold. Here's the 2-2. And Burns slaps it foul down the right field line. Just missed that pillow at first base. And the count's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Burns just won't give up. He's hacking at anything, and he's fouling it all away.
He got a little closer on that swing right there.
2-2 the count. As Brasesco trying to put Burns away. Here's the pitch. That's inside. Chin music past Nin Burns as the count moves full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. With 1 out, a walk would bring up Augusto Schroeder here. And that's what Burns is thinking. Walk or knock. At least bring the run in with 1 out and a runner at third. 3-2. And Burns strikes out swinging. High fastball right by Burns. And a non-productive out for the Blues.
Yeah, it's the one thing you don't want to do in that scenario, and that is strike out. Now you got 2 outs. And Augusto Schroeder coming up. And Burns got to learn from that at bat right there to stay more compact.
No balls, no strikes on Augusto Schroeder with 2 outs now. He needs to be the hero. And he takes a slider down low, 1 ball and no strikes. Schroeder so far today has a walk. Other than that, he's 0 for 2. A ground out and a fly out. Hicks and Baugh at third and a 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. And that's in there for a strike. High and outside corner, and perfect snipe from Brasesco. If you're Brasesco, you can't be happier with the way that Burns at bat played out. Yeah, he got some pitches out of you, but to get that strikeout with a runner at third and less than 2 outs, a big deal and a big strikeout spot. 1 ball and 1 strike on Augusto Schroeder. And he swings through, taps it right back into the glove of Barrettsoff. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, it was a battle for both Brasesco and Burns right there. Certainly satisfying for a pitcher to get out of a situation like that with 1 out.
Blues down to their last strike here in the 7th. Want to bring across that run. The 1-2 to Schroeder. And he slaps it on the ground. On 1 hop to Rossi. Comes up with it clean, and he takes it himself in time for the out. We're through 7 full innings, which means we say goodbye to Nate Mills. Nate, thanks again for your excellent color commentary. We head to the top of the 8th inning, though, where the Blues still lead it 2-0.
and I are working here today is evidence of that.
New arm in for the San Luis Obispo Blues, and they're turning back to a guy they used on opening day. It's Matthew Gonzalez coming in for relief of Omar Reynoso. Reynoso finishes his outing with 7 innings pitched. He only allowed 2 hits, had 5 strikeouts, and didn't allow a single run. Gonzalez, who pitched on opening day, as we mentioned, against the Coastal Dodgers, got a 3-inning save on opening day. The game wasn't close, but he threw 3 full innings, gave up just 1 hit, 2 walks, struck out 5 Coastal Dodgers, and he works a 2-seam fastball, some off-speed pitches as well. But the hard-throwing right-hander working out of the windup will take over for Reynoso. A really nice SLO Blues debut for the left-hander heading to San Mateo College. Can't ask for much more if you're head coach Dean Traynor. The Blues were looking to get back in the win column, and Reynoso did just about everything he could to put them on a good path to do so. As now there's just 2 more innings of baseball here to be played at Sinsheimer Stadium. The Blues lead it by a score of 2-0, and Gonzalez will look to keep it at that, as the Blues need just 6 more outs to come away with a win. Gonzalez, who finished up playing recently at Allen Hancock College, headed to UC Colorado Springs. He didn't play for them last year, but got the disgusting changeup that, at least so far for the Blues this summer, looks like he might be trying to make a path to play next year at UC Colorado Springs. Pinch hitters Kobe Rolling, and the first pitch is a fastball just a little bit outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Rolling taking over for Jared Wood, who was 0 for 2 with a walk as the third baseman. There's a fly ball out of play down the left field line, 1 ball and 1 strike. Rolling played yesterday. He batted it right in this 2 spot, had 2 hits, scored a run, and also walked. He was 2 for 4. Had one of those hits and runs in the 9th inning when the Admirals scored 5. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gonzalez, glove arm outstretched, deals that changeup on the inside corner for a strike. That thing is like an opposite frisbee, where the frisbee moves from right to left. That one acts like it's going to and then breaks backwards. One of the most movement on a changeup maybe I've seen at this level. 1-2. And Rolling taps it right back past Gonzalez. The shortstop Schroeder comes up with it. Got to move fast, and he throws in. Dug out by Schmidt in time to get Rolling, and the call is safe at first. Schmidt can't believe it, as they call Rolling safe at first base, and Dean Traynor quickly out of the Blues dugout to try and argue this call as the Boo-Birds rain out at Sinsheimer. Schroeder had to make a quick throw. It was in the dirt, but Schmidt dug it out. I'm unsure whether the call was that he didn't field it cleanly or his foot was off the bag, and Dean Traynor probably asking the same question. And he's right up in the face of our first base umpire here at Sinsheimer. The ball just got past the glove of Gonzalez, and Schroeder was right there to make the play. Had to make a throw on the run. Schmidt in disbelief about how that was a safe call at first base. And Dean Traynor finishes up with a first base umpire. Now he heads towards home plate to make another case. And now he's going to ask the umpires to meet with each other. If this call were to stand the way it was, it would be the first hit for the Admirals since the 6th inning. It would be a base runner with nobody out and a potential rally starter for Seth Gwynn, the 3-hole hitter coming up. Conversation going on. This one could determine a lot in just a 2-run ball game. This would mean that every other batter that came up this inning would be the tying run. Gonzalez stands with JT Ricken on the mound to try and figure out what this call is going to be. He thought he got a ground out to start the frame before the safe call at first base. Conversation still ongoing. And here comes the call. He's out. So the umpires change their minds, and Kobe Rolling is erased from the base paths. And now the Admirals coach is going to make his claim at first base. And he's going to the first base coach, probably saying, how'd you let them overrule you? You called it safe first and told us we had a base runner, now we don't. Constant conversation here at Sinsheimer, and the Admirals are not happy about the call. two different conversations going on. The first base coach is in cahoots with the first base umpire, and here you see it on your screen. The manager for the Admirals still talking with the home plate umpire. A whole debacle here to start the top of the 8th inning, but for now, after the meeting, the runner erased and an out added on the scoreboard. Rolling is retired on the 6-3 ground out. After all that, 1 out, nobody on, and up comes Seth Gwynn, who has flown out all 3 times he's come up. Here's the 0-0 from Gonzalez, and that's a liner down the left field line. Fair ball, and it bounces into the left field corner. Hansen over to track it, playing it off the Rourke family sign. His throw goes into short, and Seth Gwynn stops at second with a double, and that's what makes the call important. That would have brought in a run, if not for the overturned call, but a runner at second base with 1 out for the Admirals. First hit for Gwynn, and that is the first hit for the Admirals since the 6th. The Blues scored a run back in the 5th inning to make it 2-0, and that run's important now because if you're Gonzalez, you can afford to give up 1, but you can't let the tying run score. And another pinch hitter coming in for the Admirals. It's Kenny DeSalle, who led off yesterday's game. He's taking over for Chase Graves, who struck out 3 times looking in his 3 at-bats today. But DeSalle gets the chance now after a good day at the plate yesterday. Singled and scored. One of the 9 runs that the Admirals put up. Gonzalez looks back at second, now kicks and fires. And DeSalle hits a high drive to deep left field. Hansen's tracking it to the warning track right at the wall. He puts his hand up and makes the catch. Kenny DeSalle gave it a ride, but Hansen was there to take it in, and there's 2 away. Long out for Kenny DeSalle. It's the second here in the top of the 8th. That was an adventure for Jason Hansen in left field. Deep shot off the bat of DeSalle, but he did not get enough. And now with 2 outs, it's up to Kirk Wolf to try and bring in a run for the Admirals. Walked and advanced to second his last time at the plate. Gonzalez looks in, trying to keep a run off the board. He kicks and deals and spins a slider on the outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. The Blues have led this whole way. A run in the 2nd inning off the Hickson-Baugh RBI single. And that put the Blues in front, and they've since added 1 run to their total. High pop-up, back out of play. It's 0-2. And a miracle catch, as you can hear by the crowd. The fans are having a good time at Sinsheimer Stadium. Mimosa Monday. It's Memorial Day. The Blues are winning. What more could you ask for? No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Gonzalez 1 strike away from getting out of this ultra weird 8th inning. 0-2. And a high pop-up. That's to center, and in Burns is coming in. He looks like he's got a beat on it. He puts his black glove up and makes the one-handed catch to retire the side. We're heading to the bottom of the 8th. The Blues still on top, 2-0.
fact that you and I are working here today.
Blues coming back up in the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Jason Hansen, JT Ricken, and Trevor Schmidt coming up. And they'll face a new pitcher. It's Nate Meredith, another Meredith, right-hander from Chico State. You have to assume relation with today's starter, Nolan Meredith, who went a total of 2 innings. But again, the Admirals head back to the pen, still chasing 2 runs. As Jason Hansen comes up, it's Meredith now on the mound. He kicks and fires 0-0, and Hansen takes a fastball down low for a ball. The Blues have pitched up 8 shutout innings so far. Matthew Gonzalez, you'd assume going back out there for the 9th inning, will try and bring the Blues a win. And Jason Hansen starts this inning off with a ground ball to Schaff to short and a throw back in time to get the runner. There's one away. Hansen almost had a base hit up the middle, but Schaff, the shortstop, has been the best defender on the diamond for both teams this weekend. He makes every play with ease, and he was able to retire Hansen at first. GT Ricken now at the plate. 2 ground outs today and a fly out, and he pops that one out of play. No balls and 1 strike on the third baseman headed to the University of Oregon next season for the Blues. Oh, and 1 the count, and that's a slider a little bit too low. Barrettsoff tries to stick the catch to make his claim about why that should have been a strike, but instead it's a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Defense playing Ricken straight up. Outfield brought in just a tad, and that fastball flies too high. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Ricken still 4 hits on the summer. Had a double in the first game the Blues played here on Friday against the Coastal Dodgers. 3 runs batted in. But he's 0 for 3 today, 2-1. It's in there for a strike. We thank you as always for tuning in to the SLO Blues streaming network. And the Blues trying to finish this weekend off with a Memorial Day win to finish 3-1 on the summer opening weekend. 2-2. It's a slider in the dirt, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Blues won the first 2 games, lost yesterday to this very Admirals team by a score of 9-2. They've led all the way here today. And they're still looking for their second shutout of the year. Matthew Gonzalez, who will be closing out the 9th, played part in the first on opening night. 3-2. Chased out of play, foul. Count stays full. Bottom of the lineup will be coming up for the Admirals in the top of the 9th inning. They're due up to have their 7, 8, 9 spots in the order. 3-2. And a strikeout swinging of JT Ricken. 2 quick outs from Meredith here as he tries to get the Admirals back up. Try and come back from this 2-run deficit. Trevor Schmidt at the dish. 2 walks and a flyout today. He's come around to score 1 of the Blues' 2 runs. That was the first back in the 2nd inning. Here he faces another Meredith and lines a foul ball back to the screen. It's 0-1. Take a look at the way the defense plays Trevor Schmidt. Straight up, but a very big hole between the middle infielders right over the second base bag. Oh, 1, and Schmidt, big swing and a miss at that changeup. Catches just a piece, fouls it back into the glove of Barrettsoff, and it's 0-2. We've seen multiple pinch hitters for the Admirals these last couple innings, so they could go to the bench to try and fill some of these spots of the batters that are due up against Gonzalez in the 9th. 0-2, and Schmidt hits a high drive deep to right field. He's watching it out of the box. As it rolls, is it fair? Little bit foul and right off the top of the wall. And Schmidt has to take the long walk back to first. He thought he hit the Blues' first home run of the season on an 0-2 count, but he just missed it, couldn't keep it fair. Hit that one 304 feet right down the right field line, but could not keep it fair. Count stays no balls and 2 strikes on the first baseman from Arizona, who has 7 walks to lead the Blues this season. Best OBP on the team, but only 2 for 4 at the plate. 0-2. That's outside, 1-2. Nate Meredith looks in. Now comes set on the first base side of the rubber. Gloves held at the belt. 1-2. And Schmidt beats it on the ground towards third, but foul. And the count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. Schmidt making sure he didn't break his bat. It seems like he approves of the lumber, and he'll stay in there. Back of the left-hand batter's box. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Meredith comes set, comes home, and misses in the dirt, 2-2. On deck, if Schmidt were to reach with 2 outs, it's Ryan Taman, the DH, who's 1 for 3 today with a single. I'm sure he wants one more at-bat in a SLO's uniform in his last game with the Blues this summer. He's on deck, though. It's 2-2 the count on Schmidt. The pitch, and it's way inside as Schmidt has to slide back out of the way. The count moves full. 3 balls, 2 strikes on the Blues' first baseman. Here's the pitch. That's outside. Schmidt draws his team-leading 8th walk in just the first 4 games of the season, and the Blues have a runner aboard with 2 outs, and Taman does get another chance to bat for the Blues in the summer of 2023. 3 walks on the day for Schmidt. We talked about it earlier on the broadcast. In his first 8 appearances, or first plate appearances for the Blues, did not get out once. He's continuing that trend today. 0-0 to Taman, and it's fouled out of play. 1 ball and no strikes. 2-0 Blues. An insurance run here would be huge. If they can bring in and manufacture a run with 2 outs, Schmidt runs it first and Taman at the dish. Meredith looks back at first to check on Schmidt. He's been thrown out stealing once today. 0-1. And Taman hits a number out to center field. Dilworth chases it into the gap. And even though that one was off the end of the bat, kind of got a little far, but Dilworth able to bring it in. And Schmidt didn't know how many outs there were. He was going back to tag up. Either way, the Blues go quietly in the bottom of the 8th inning, and we head to the top of the 9th. The Blues look to go 3-1 on the weekend, and they send Gonzalez back out to the mound looking for his 2nd save of 2023. The Blues are 3 outs away from their 3rd win of the summer here in game number 4. It's a game 2 of a 2-game set with the Admirals. Admirals took game 1 yesterday night, and the Blues looking to even things up. They've got Matthew Gonzalez still on the mound with Dilworth, Rossi, and Antone due up. And the first pitch from Gonzalez to Dilworth is a slider that just misses the inside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Gonzalez pitched last inning, gave up a double to Seth Gwynn, but got 2 flyouts to end the frame. 1-0. That's in there for a strike. Big swing and a miss from Dilworth on the sinker. It's 1-1. Dilworth on the day is 1 for 3. He had a single in his last plate appearance back in the 6th inning. 1-1. And he swings and misses again. That's a big dropping sinker, almost falling off a table, but still with some velocity. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sinker coming in there, mid-80s. As here's another quick one, too. And Dilworth strikes out swinging on the slider. 1 away in the 9th. Dilworth strikes out for the first time today. That's the first K for Gonzalez out of the pen. And another pinch hitter coming into the game for the Admirals. It's Alden Quintanilla, who played first base yesterday. Had 2 hits, scored 1 run. Was a total of 2 for 5. But the Admirals go into a lefty with Gonzalez, the righty, on the mound for the Blues, and 1 out. Now Quintanilla getting some practice reps in and now steps into the box. Back of the left-hand batter's box against Gonzalez, who works quick and deals a fastball in there. Foul out of play, 0-1. Gonzalez had a 3-inning save in the Blues' first game of this weekend back on Friday. Now going for his second of the season for the Blues in his second inning of work here today. 0-1. And Quintanilla fans through that beautiful changeup. First one we've seen this inning, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. The Admirals just trying to get someone on to bring the tying run to the plate. 0-2. And a big swing and a miss. 2 straight strikeouts in the ninth, and that changeup was dirty out of the hand of Matthew Gonzalez. Blues 1 out away from a win here tonight at Sinsheimer Stadium at 2 p.m. start time. It's right now just past 4:30 here on the West Coast. Mimosa Monday, Memorial Monday, and the Blues hope it's a winning day, and they're 1 out away from it. Jacob Antonet at the plate now, 1 for 3 so far today. He looks at the first pitch, a little bit high. It's 1 ball and no strikes. If Antonet were to reach, which he needs to keep this game going for the Admirals, it's the 9 spot on deck. 1-0, and Antonet grounds it to short. It's Schroeder who has to get it behind the bag. Long throw in time for the win. A 3-1 Memorial Day weekend for the San Luis Obispo Blues as this one goes final. A second shutout in the summer of 2023, and the Blues win it 2-0. Great defensive play by Schroeder to get the W, and Gonzalez ends with his second save. The story of the day, Omar Reynoso, who threw 7 shutout innings for the Blues, gave up only 2 hits, had 5 strikeouts. And we're going to try and get him as your Blues player of the game for the postgame show. But a very successful weekend for the Blues. They go 3-1 with a 2-game sweep of the Coastal Dodgers to open the summer. And they lost yesterday night, and they bounced back in a big way today. Only 4 hits but 2 runs. They allow just 3 hits, give up no runs to the Bay Area Admirals. A series split here in the final game at Sinsheimer this weekend. Stay tuned. We hope to have a postgame interview coming up with Omar Reynoso right here on the SLO Blues streaming network.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
We're back here on the SLO Blues streaming network with today's winning pitcher, Omar Reynoso. Omar, 7 shutout innings. You had 5 strikeouts, only allowed 2 hits. How much were you feeling it today?
I was feeling great today. I'm glad to get throw some strikes and letting them hit the ball and let my defense do the work. I mean, that's what a pitcher does. So you gotta do what you gotta do, throw strikes.
One thing we really liked was the way that you went about attacking hitters early on with runners in scoring position, runners on base. You strand 4 runners the first 2 times. Then you went on a streak where you were throwing 1, 2, 3 innings like crazy. What were the adjustments that you had to make early on?
So when I first came in the game, I was like a little nervous, new thing. Then I made the adjustment to settle in, and then I got way too comfortable hearing the fans. Love it.
Was this the most fans you ever played in front of here at Sinsheimer?
Definitely.
Does that add to you? What was so exciting about it?
Just hearing the hot sauce, just chanting my name. Love it.
Oh, you
great.
Handed out 5 bottles of hot sauce yourself. Your guys pitching throughout this first week handed out more hot sauce than I think the Blues were expecting to hand out, 32 through the first couple games. You guys played really well, a 3-1 weekend. How does it feel to come away with a winning weekend on Memorial Day, on Mimosa Monday here at Sinsheimer Stadium? How'd it feel?
Feels great. Let's keep it going. More wins.
Well, that's all we've got for you guys today on the SLO Blues streaming network. The Blues win it by a total of 2-0. We're here with Omar Reynoso. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed.